Hey guys, it's Carla. Today I'm going to show you how to paint this very simple, beautiful rose. I'm using acrylic paint. I've got white, yellow, raw sienna, green oxide, and black. And I'm using this synthetic angle brush. I'll be using different sizes of those depending on what area I'm working in. So I want to start with my bulb, my petals and my bulb. And right now, all I'm doing is kind of making little sections, like different petals. So I'm alternating colors so that I can keep them separated, so that it's not just one big yellow blob. And then we can come back later and change the colors of those, or darken them or lighten them or whatever. So right now I just want to get those petals in there and get them separated. So I'm kind of just going back and forth from yellow to raw sienna. So this is the center of the rose, like if you're looking down into it. This is that top part. And if you want to trace this on, there's a link in the description below to where you can get the traceable. Okay, now this is that big front petal that kind of helps shape the rose. And if you're not tracing this on ahead of time, don't worry about the shape. You can always come back and touch that up if you get a shape you don't like. Paint covers paint. Okay, now right here I'm still working on that same petal, but I'm working on the other side of it, the shaded side. So the next petal that I put in is what's going to be casting this shadow. But notice how each little section is separated with color, so that it's not one big blob. Alright, now my final petal is the one that shapes the right side of the rose. Remember that bulb shape at the bottom. Kind of signature shape for a closed rose. I think what makes this flower so pretty, oh, don't forget to blow dry, is not only the color, I love the color of it, but the contrast of the leaves when we get those in. They're fairly dark against that light background. I think it really makes it pop. And you don't have to leave the background white. You can put color on it before you start your rose, but I would keep it light. I mean, you wouldn't have to, but I feel like the rose really pops with that light background. So maybe like a very, very pale blue or something. Okay, so right here I'm just kind of going in and defining my petals with highlights and lowlights. And I'll do that throughout the painting because as it dries I can tell if I need more color. And don't be afraid to make things darker than what maybe you feel like you should, because that's what gives it depth. If you don't do that, then it's really just going to look very flat. So now I'm coming back with yellow and just making that color more bold. Now notice I'm not rinsing my brush while I'm switching between these two colors because I do want them to blend together anyway. So to me, rinsing my brush is to keep colors separated, and that's not what I'm trying to do. Okay, so that's a nice rich color on that petal. Now I did rinse my brush here, and I'm going to start on my next petal and make it more vibrant. A little bit of a dark outline here and blending it in, because against that light background you can see that dark rim. Coming back with the highlight and defining the edges. If you've ever noticed, a rose has really definite edges, like very crisp edges on the petals. So so we'll be doing that throughout this painting, occasionally just going in with a liner brush and defining those edges. I'm still working on my shades, my tints, to kind of give it more definition. Like I want some areas to be lighter and some to be darker. All right, now I'm using the thin liner brush, making those edges nice and crisp. It's hard to tell on the monitor that it's doing anything, but it really is. So don't skip that step. Back to my angle brush. I'm just deepening some of that color. I want to pretty much get my petals the colors I want them now before I start on my leaves, because it's hard to come back and work around your leaves once you get a lot of them in there. So I just want to concentrate on my rose until I have it right. All right, green. So I'm starting on my leaves. So I'm mixing a little bit of green oxide and yellow to create a light green color and a little bit of white. Because I want to start with my lighter colors and then come back in and put dark in some areas, but I don't want to cover up all my lights, so I want to go ahead and shape my leaves with the light green. And your leaves don't have to be the same as mine. You might want more or less leaves, but this gives you an idea of like what kind of shapes you can have. So this one is coming up over the rose, which makes it look more realistic. If you try to keep everything separate and nothing crossing over anything, then it looks very uptight and not real, because in nature things do overlap. that's a big leaf coming out from behind the rose. Now it's already starting to look pretty and graceful, but it's still very flat because it's only got one color in the leaves. So coming in with the darker colors does really help with the dimension. I'm starting on my stem down here. It comes out wider at the top where it holds the rose, and then gets more narrow toward the bottom. Just mixing up just a dark color to fill in that little shadow area between the leaf and the rose. It's probably rose that you're seeing in there, but it's just dark. It's just a dark color. Start on my darker shades in my leaves. So a little bit of black with some green, and we'll just get darker and darker with this. Again, I don't want to cover up all of my light green. So each shade that I put on there, I want to make sure that I don't cover up the previous shade. I think you'll be amazed at how simple this really is. And I think it's just so beautiful. It's a very delicate, dainty rose, I guess. Especially once you come back in with the liner brush later and put in the final details. It's really very graceful. Now over here, I want it to look like you're seeing down into, like this leaf is kind of cupped, and you're seeing down in it, if that makes any sense. darker color on my stem is going to be on the left-hand side. Alright, now I'm going a little bit darker. Still not completely black, but very, very dark green. And it may be intimidating, but you really need these dark colors in there. See how that makes it look so much deeper right there. Again, don't cover up all of your previous color. So the darker you get with your colors, the less of it you'll use, because you want to leave the other colors showing through in places. Now I'm using my liner brush to create some smaller details. These are very characteristic details in a rose. You've got these little, these are not thorns, but they're little spiky protrusions from the leaves. They're just very thin, like thorns, but they're just little spikes in the leaves. This is such a simple way to make it look more detailed and give it more interest. If your paint gets too thick, just pick up a little water on your brush and mix in with it. Alright, now I'm going back to my angle brush, and again, just I've found some places that I want to deepen the color a little bit. If you've got a lot of leaves coming out over your rose, then it's really hard to do this, so just keep that in mind. Now this is just straight black, so I want to be very careful with it and not put too much of it in there, but it does give it a lot more depth. I like the way those darker leaves pop against that background, so I'm trying to make sure that those are not too light. Still working on the colors in my petals. Like I said, once acrylic paint dries, you can kind of get a more true view of what color it is. So it's not unusual to have to come back and darken or lighten areas. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this, and I hope you try it. And until next time, thanks for watching.